Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Doc Rivers is our doctor. He writes out all of our scriptures. He gives us all of our medicine in our room. Solo guru tonight. So come on in the room. Come on in the room. Doc Rivers is our doctor. Doc Rivers is our doctor. Doc Rivers is our doctor. He writes out all of our scriptures. He gives us all of our medicine in our room. Bucks winning tonight, 122-93 over the Orlando Magic. We are live. It's the Cream City crossover. The Guru, Trey Cross III. Oh, it's just me tonight. Just me tonight. Just solo guru. Doing a thing like we always do it. No Justin. Hope everything's going well with Justin. No, he has an emergency he had to go through. Chris King is working tonight. JT, you know him. It's a back-to-back. So JT, the knees, the ankles, all those things he roll out of bed, just not working for him. So he's got to get that thing right and fixed up all the way. So yeah, again, if you're sending me stuff, I got a picture. You notice again, no scroll tonight. I don't know what the scroll bar was working. See, I gotta do production. When the I'm getting triple double no assist tonight. When the scroll bar uses there, I don't see a scroll bar. I don't know. It was working when I had it up. Not working anymore. But you know, hey, it is what it is. Technical difficulties. We do what we do. Shorthanded, whole team, full team, one-man band. We're gonna get it done. 122-93. The Bucks beat the Orlando Magic back-to-back night. And you know the Guru is here with you. We're gonna get to, I have to pull it up. So I'll get to your YouTube comments, of course, and things on Twitter. Get me on Twitter at TCIIESQ. And let's talk about it. We're gonna try and be quicker, a little bit quicker tonight. Shouldn't take all day. Only I got to get my takes off, so it won't be that bad for you tonight. But if you're tuning in, joining with us, man, if you appreciate what we do, we'd appreciate, likes, follows, subscribe to the show, man. All the above. If you could do that, that'd be great. And again, just show some appreciation because we're going to have to do it. Bear with me. You guys stick with me tonight. We're going to get it done. One-man show, solo guru tonight on the Cream City crossover. 122-93. Bucks beat the Orlando Magic. Back-to-back wins for the Milwaukee Bucks. And let's start off with the game recap. Bucks were in control from the start of this thing, right? From the very beginning of this basketball game, the Bucks were in control. I think the first quarter, 34-16, so not quite as good as last night's 47-point first quarter performance. But again, all's well that ends well just the same. Bucks had a huge lead on the Orlando Magic to start this one off. Giannis, 26, 11, and 4, 29 minutes. I thought, to me, one of the bigger things about the night was the rest. Giannis, only 29 minutes tonight, was able to sit and rest for a fourth quarter, not have to continue doing work and doing action. So that was a good thing for him. Brook Lopez, 13 points, 5 boards, 2 assists. Andre Jackson Jr. went out with the thigh contusion, setting a screen late in there, and I think right before the third quarter began. So he was out. Taurean Prince with 5 points tonight. And how about Damian Lillard? 30 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, and 4 steals. 13 of 19 from the field, 3 of 3 from the three-point line. He was a plus 27, team high plus 27 tonight. Damian Lillard tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, and again, what I say, 3 of 3 from the three-point line, didn't force not 1 3, was in control. And again, you see bursts every now and then from Damian Lillard getting to the basket. You see those things. You see that he's able to complete them. You see that he does them at times. But tonight, when you watch Damian Lillard, it was constant. It was constant to the basket, over and over and over again. He got there when he needed to get there. Not only that, he was able to get to the basket. He was also able to stop on a dime, right, and shoot the jump shot. Finished with contact. All the above, all those things that you look for from Damian Lillard to do from a superstar point guard that was brought into this organization to win. That's the Damian Lillard. Oh, and then the 4 steals. Listen, you don't have to be you don't have to be, and Samuel L. Larson says it. You don't have to be, says Dame killed it tonight, but you don't have to be some maestro on the defensive end. You don't have to lock down your opponent. But what I want you to do, and Cole Anthony, 11 points, 4 boards, 9 assists tonight. So Damian Lillard was able to play well. You don't have to lock guys down, but can you poke your hand in there every now and then and get a steal? Can you at least try to stay in front of your man? Even I think back to Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley got beat a lot last year because you expected Malik Beasley to play against top tier guards and wings on the other side. And Malik Beasley got a bad rap because he played as well as he could. He just wasn't good enough to do it. But he tried as hard as he could. That's all I ask of Damian Lillard. Stay in front, poke your nose in there, put your head in there. You put your hand in the cookie jar, you're going to get some cookies. That's what he got tonight, four cookies tonight from Damian Lillard. So it was a really good job on both ends. Stayed alert, did the little things tonight, and then he was aggressive, and he attacked. Probably the most aggressive first half I've seen from Damian Lillard in quite some time. That's what you brought him in to do. Excellent job from Damian Lillard tonight. He was really good. Bobby Portis off the bench, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 1 block for him in 23 minutes. Chris Middleton, again, 14 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. That jump shot he has, listen, his ankles may be gone, his legs may be gone, knees everything lower body may be gone from Chris Middleton as far as his movement. That jump shot is still there. That jump shot is still pure, still smooth, and he can get to it and hit it. So good job from Chris Middleton. AJ Green only 2 points tonight, 5 rebounds. He only took 1 3. I think he got to pull a little more. I thought Ryan Reynolds was good tonight as well. 6 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. Pat Connaughton, 3 points as well, 11 minutes. You saw some guys get in the garbage time as well, including Marjon Beauchamp, who finished with 6 points. On the Orlando side of things, Paolo Banchero, 22 points, 5 boards, 2 assists. Bucks did a really good job of limiting what he could do tonight. Wendell Carter Jr., 12 points, 10 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals. Tavis Caldwell-Pope, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 floor touch. Damian Lillard had him kissing the ground. Tonight, De Silva, nothing. Cole Anthony, talked about him, 11 points. Anthony Black, 10 points. Jonathan Isaac, 9 points, 3 boards. Again, the Bucks were just good tonight. Basketball Reach says Dame played so good. Ball like Mike _9 says JT's check engine light came on. William Ranch, come on in the room. Gio, come on in the room. Everybody get in the room. Let's talk about this thing. And I'll go to your point there, Akis Papadopoulos. When was the last time the Bucks played so good on a back-to-back? I couldn't tell you. Now, the Magic were missing pieces. There's no doubt about it. They were missing guys. 100%. They missed people tonight. They didn't have Jalen Suggs. Of course, they don't have Franz Wagner. They don't have Mo Wagner. They didn't have who else were they missing? They were missing a host of guys tonight. But that's neither here nor there. That doesn't have anything to do with what the Bucks had to do and what the Bucks had to come to do because they were on a back-to-back. And tonight, again, from the very opening tip, the Milwaukee Bucks took advantage. Again, Dame started off. Giannis was really good in that third quarter. I think Giannis had 14, 16 points in that third quarter alone. Brook Lopez, how many blocks did Brook Lopez have tonight? 5 blocks from Brook Lopez. So you saw a lot of the good things in Orlando. Shot the ball terribly. Here's the other thing about the Bucks. So Orlando was, and this is just crazy when you look at this. Orlando's 12 for 46 from 3. They took 46 threes. They shot 26% from the three-point line. Horrible job shooting three-point tonight. But the Bucks only took 12 threes. They were 7 of 12, 58% from the three-point line. Took 12 threes. That is, you just don't see that in today's modern NBA. But again, you look at it, the field goal percentages were so high. Just run down. Torian Prince shot 50% from the field. Giannis shot 73% from the field. Brooks, 71% from the field. Lillard, 68% from the field. Porter, 66% from the field. Middleton, 62%. Rollins, 75%. Pat, 50%. Marjon, 66%. The Bucks shot tonight 62% from the field. And they got it, and they shot 62% from the field and 58% from three. The Magic slowed the pace down. That's what they like to do. Again, and I know guys are out. This Magic team does not scare me. And I know, again, they're going to get their guys back. This Magic team does not scare me. This is a team, I know they're good. I know they're young. I know they play hard. They don't have a Giannis on that side. This is a team that the Bucks should be wanting to go out in the first round. Because this will be the first round matchup right now, I believe, right? If I go to the standings. Bucks are 4, Orlando's 5 right now. This will be your first round matchup. I'm not mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it. Orlando full stream. They don't have anything for it. It's 3 in a row. You can, again, Orlando fans are, we didn't have this guy. And again, Orlando's a very good young basketball team. They just don't have enough. They're not good enough. Even when you can just tell it. And I know Paolo will be better than he was tonight. They just don't have enough. The Bucks controlled this game, man. That's what you go out to see. A team that goes in full control, basically up 30 all night. It wasn't wire to wire because I know Orlando got up in the first quarter. I think it was like 7-4, whatever it was. But it was essentially wire. The Bucks were wire to wire last night, and essentially wire to wire tonight against the Orlando Magic. And again, this could have been a trap game. This could have very, very easily been a trap game for you. The Bucks, when I talk about it, Giannis and Dame last night, I don't know if you caught this. Giannis and Dame last night after the game during their media availability talked about holding each other accountable. Players holding each other accountable moving forward. And there hadn't been enough of that. These are the games you have to win. Like there's no excuse to come out and drop an egg against a team like the Orlando Magic. Friday night, you're going to play the Toronto Raptors. No excuse to go out and drop an egg, lay an egg to Orlando Magic. You've had those games already the earliest part of the season. That's what you did. Those days have now got to be over. You need to be focused. And again, I don't mind losing, but you got to lose the right way. And you can't lay eggs against inferior opponents. The Bucks played an inferior opponent tonight, and they were just so much better. From their zone defense was good. Orlando just missed a lot of shots too, so I give them that. The Bucks smothered Paolo Banchero. I kind of thought that the game plan was going to be let Paolo cook and stop everybody else, but it actually made sense when I thought about it with what Doc Rivers and the coaching staff did. It made a lot more sense because Orlando didn't have their full complement of players. The only guy they got is Paolo. Let's make sure we don't let him do anything and smother him. Stay up a little bit closer because again, Paolo killed us the last time he played. Stay up on him, pressure him. I thought he was very loose with the ball tonight. Even though it didn't end up in turnovers all the time, he was loosey-goosey with the ball. And the Bucks took advantage of that. They were really good. Even the turnovers weren't bad. There was a lull there. I believe that was in the second quarter. The Bucks had a little bit of a lull in how they played. But after that, I mean, it was just too easy. It's too easy. And again, the Bucks they're a good enough team to where that's how games should go, man. Let's get back to that. Remind you of what, like Mike Budenholzer era Milwaukee Bucks during the regular season. That's what you wanted to see. Again, Damian Lillard, spectacular. Matthew at large said, I think this is one of Dame's better games. He's actually been playing some solid defense too. I'm trying to think, when was the last time Dame put up 30? I think they talked about it on the broadcast. I just don't recall. I know it hasn't been it's been a while since I've seen 30 from Damian Lillard. Again, just stay aggressive. Staying aggressive is the key. Mac P says that was belt to bear ass whooping tonight. Defense was on point. Offense hit timely shots. Everything was timely. It was good. There was the stretch in the fourth even where Brook Lopez dominated. I thought Orlando let go of the rope. And that's not what you see a lot from Orlando team. Again, I know they were decimated with injuries. But again, the Bucks took it to him. They absolutely took it to him. I thought Ryan Rollins played well as well. Somebody mentioned it about everybody's trying to take Ajax out of the lineup. That's wrong. Let's stay there for a second. Let's talk about I said December the 6th was his last 30 point. Okay, appreciate it. Basketball Reach. Let's talk about Ajax. Again, I know he was injured. Tonight, it wasn't an issue tonight that Ajax, but there are a lot of games where it is. And again, tonight he didn't score at all. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. I thought he played good defense, and tonight it wasn't an issue because you didn't have the, Orlando just couldn't score and keep up with the Bucks. But there are nights where there are teams that are going to be able to do that. So when you talk about Shadei Jackson being the starting lineup again, can he? Yes, but you have to figure out what you want to do if you're Doc Rivers. And that's what I've been talking about. I thought Doc Rivers has done an excellent job coaching this basketball team because every single night he has to figure out who to start and who should finish and who should be playing and how the minutes should coincide. I thought tonight you saw Chris Middleton. You saw Ryan Rollins as well playing with your starters. Well, you saw Chris Middleton playing with Giannis and Dame a lot more than you have. Ryan Rollins, I believe they had some stat. I think maybe from last game where he had only played with Chris. Excuse me, he only played with Giannis and Dame like 9 on court minutes with both of them at the same time. So you saw a little bit of that last night. You saw more of that tonight. You saw some of that tonight with Ryan Rollins. And again, the way he played, he's just such a smooth basketball player. I think you have to continue playing him. You have to find minutes for him because he plays a good brand of defense. Like we talked about last night, he makes some mistakes. Ajax makes mistakes too, but they both of those guys make their mistakes at 100%. And I can deal with guys that make mistakes at that level, doing it full go like that. That's what you saw tonight. I mean, literally, that's what you saw, and that's Milwaukee Bucks basketball on a back-to-back, and just just never letting it go. And again, we talked about this before too. Giannis is the best player. Damian Lillard is the most important player. I firmly believe the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be. They're going to be a hard basketball team to beat in general. It's going to be a hard basketball team to beat in general. They're going to be. I mean, if Damian Lillard is cooking like this, again, we talk about the number one duo in the NBA. We talk about it, and that's not just a saying. They're the highest. No, we talk about the highest scoring duo in the NBA. That's not just a saying. That's legit. That's something you can hang your hat on. Giannis and Dame are the highest scoring duo in the NBA. When Damian Lillard is efficient, and he took 19 shots tonight, 16 of them 2-pointers. When's the last time Damian Lillard's done something like that? Couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you when the last time he's done that. But again, he showed the burst tonight. He showed the ability to stop on a dime. You know he's got that jump shot. The mid-range was pure. Getting to the basket, finishing pure, finishing through contact. I still don't understand some of the foul calls that don't get caught. I thought Giannis got pushed in the back at least twice. I thought there were 2 or 3 instances where Giannis on layups gets pushed in the back, no call. There's a stretch of that I thought that went on I didn't appreciate. I didn't think that was good. Matthew Adler says Chris's rhythm looked far better tonight. It did. Chris, again, when Chris is hitting, Chris is almost, he's not there yet because, let me say this. He's not there yet because he does other things. He still passes the ball very well. Again, he finished with 6 assists tonight. And that's when we get to this Jimmy Butler news in a second here, because we're going to move this program along pretty fast. Again, and I'll get back to that point in a second. On the game, there wasn't, I don't have a lot to really break down or get into. Giannis and Dame's two-man look much better than it has. Their two-man game in general has looked much better. You know who else? I'll say this too. I'm scatterbrained all over the place. You know who else has a really nice two-man game? So there's the Giannis Dame two-man game that is starting to get the synergy and work. We know Dame and Brook have a very solid two-man game, pick and pop game that works, especially when Brook's knocking down that three-point shot. It can be very effective when teams blitz Dame. But the other two guys I really think about that have a nice two-man game. Well, so there's Dame and Giannis. There's Dame and Brook. We know about Chris and Giannis, so that's a guarantee. The other group that I want to talk about two-man game. How about Giannis and AJ Green? That's a pretty effective two-man game as well, with Giannis leading it as the ball dominant player, and AJ Green coming around, and it's usually not a screen. He does some inverted screening as well. We've seen him do that. But I'm really talking about a two-man game where it's really the handoffs. And that is a lot of pressure on how to handle that because AJ Green has such a quick trigger with his three-point shot. He can pull it from anywhere, and he can shoot it off multiple platforms. And when I say he shoots off multiple platforms and multiple angles, there are some guys, Taurean Prince, for example, he's really shooting his three-point shot the exact same way. It's typically open. Sometimes he can shoot it under contest, but it's the same look every time. AJ Green can be dipping around. He can be coming off a screen. He can do it off rhythm. He can do it off the dribble. He likes to take a rhythm dribble. AJ Green shoots in a lot of different ways. So they were talking about on the broadcast where Giannis would hand off the ball. Orlando might play, or the opposing team might play it correctly. AJ Green doesn't feel like he has a shot. Get it back to Giannis, or even Giannis doesn't think he can give it to him. And you run the exact same set again because it's like AJ Green's so kind of quick. He has this quick twitch as well to get off that ball. Matthew Allen says they've been practicing dribble handoffs since he was a two-way player. Yeah, right, and it looks like it. But the dribble it is so effective because if you give him an inch of space, he's pulling, and he can pull that. He got a three-point shot, and he got fouled. I believe he got fouled on the one today, but it looked very nice. But we've seen that start to come alive as well. Again, that was another one. John Horst doesn't get a lot of credit for drafting. He doesn't get a lot of credit for some of the things he does with young players. He hit on AJ Green. Very good player. And again, drop dead shooter, knows his role. You got to have guys in this offense when you're playing with Dame, Giannis, Chris Middleton, this group, an older veteran group. You got to have guys that know their role. AJ Green knows his role. 100% knows his role. You're there to pull. You're there to pull. No Gary Trent Jr. tonight. He was out. But yeah, Mac P says if Dame and Mills to play like they're supposed to play, in the playoffs, the Bucks will win another title. I'll get to that in the Jimmy news because that's a good question. I'll say this: if Dame and Middleton play, you said Dame and Middleton. Oh, well, that's a different. I can also get that Jimmy news, but that's a different question. Let's say Dame and Giannis. If Dame and Middleton play like they're supposed to play in the playoffs, then I ask you this question, Mac P. I asked the chat this question. Again, you guys help me out. I'm solo tonight, so you guys help me out. Let's have a dialogue. What does that mean? And not about Dame, because I think I know what you mean by Dame. I know, yeah, and I know what Dame's capable of. Dame is capable. Let me tell you what Dame's capable. Dame is capable of a 50-point night. I think he's I don't think he's aggressive enough throughout the year. I think he was aggressive tonight, and in some ways, I wish the game was closer tonight. Instead of being a blowout, because I would have loved to see an aggressive Dame for the entirety of the game. Now, again, I love blowout. I have no problem with blowout, so I'm not complaining at all. But you don't always see Damian Lillard this aggressive, and I think he should be. So that was a nice sight to see from Dame. And I would have loved to see it under pressure the whole nine. But so I know what he's capable of. And so when I say what he's capable of, I know that he is capable of at any time erupting for 40 points. 50. I think he has 50 in him. I think he does. On a night where he's on a heater. Again, he was 13 and 19. He only took 3 threes and hit them all. If this is a closer game, maybe he takes 6. Maybe he takes 6 threes and hits 5 of 6. I don't know. And maybe you're late in the game, he gets a foul. I don't know. He can get it for 40. Yeah, exactly. Satros says 20 points a night from Middleton. That's what he's supposed to be. Again, that's my question for you guys. Will Lincoln says everyone needs to do that 1/5. We win a chip. We said it all the time at Howard. Do your 111 playing football. How do your 111, and what that means is you can't do somebody else's job. You can't think that the guy beside you or the man beside you is not good enough to make the play. So you've got to worry about what your assignment is. If you're doing what somebody else is doing, or you're trying to overcompensate, because oh man. Hey, I know Ajax can't get this done. I gotta play in his. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So you are correct. You gotta do your 1/5, and everybody be great. But that's my question. What is Chris Middleton, as Matthew Adlar says? What is his? What does that mean? Or excuse me, Mac P says, what does that mean? Play like you're supposed to play. What is Chris at this stage of his game? Because tonight, think about what happened with Chris Middleton. They thought, and this is why it's been so not funny, but interesting. So let's bring Berman 23 is my professor at community. Oh, he took it away. So my professor said something about, I think he meant 7-Eleven. Go get him a Slurpee. That's funny. But let's talk. Okay, let's go, because again, we'll go how you guys want to go here. Let's talk about what for a second what happened with Chris Middleton this season. Chris Middleton, and again, I reported this. Chris Middleton, well, he was supposed to play in the preseason, never played, so we already know that. But Chris Middleton was cleared medically before he got on the court. We all know that is not a rumor. That's what happened. He didn't feel like he was ready to go. When he finally felt like he was ready to go, they put him on a minutes restriction. Cool. He started off coming out of the bench. Then they thought he's ready. Let's put him in the start lineup. And he was, again, I believe they still had him on a minutes designation. But before they took him out of the start lineup, if you recall, Chris Middleton played a game where he went like 31 minutes. Okay? He played a game this season where he went 31 minutes. And we know we got some diminishing returns for Chris Middleton somewhat. He was very up and down with how he played. Okay? It was at that point Doc Rivers then says, hey, hold on. We're going to put Chris back on the bench, and he's back on a legitimate minutes restriction. Since then, I don't think he's played more than 25 minutes. He played 21 minutes tonight. My question again goes back, are we, because, and there's been this, it's funny because within the Bucks fan base, within the media as well, and I think Marcus talked about it tonight on the program, MJ said it tonight, where there's this question of, he said, I think Chris Middleton's going to come back. I don't think that's permanent. It's interesting because why is that even a question as to whether Chris Middleton, that I think in itself is it's not a problem, but it's interesting to think about. That the Milwaukee Bucks at this stage right now have not made a decision, or at least it's up in the air, or at least it's not a full guarantee that Chris Middleton's coming back to the start lineup. We don't know that. Now, again, I give a lot of credit to JT, because JT's been talking about this since last year. And other people in the fan base as well, they've been talking about since last year that Chris Middleton should come off the bench. Whether you want to or not, that's neither here nor there. But, and then Quick Draw McGraw says, hot take, the team's third best player is going to need to play 30, 40 minutes to beat Boston. Right. You are correct, Quick Draw. Your third best player should be playing 30. Yes, your third best player typically would be in the start lineup and should be playing 35. He should be playing the exact same amount of minutes that a guy like Giannis and Dame. There's no doubt about that. There is zero doubt that that's what should happen. But can Chris hold up for 30, 40 minutes? Like that's my question when we talk about Chris being the best he can be in the playoffs. Is his best 25 minutes? Like tonight, 14 and 6 and 20 minutes. That is highly efficient basketball. You know, and again, I'm not expecting him to shoot 62% from the field, 5-8. That's not what I'm expecting. But can you be super efficient in the minutes that you're given? And that's my question. When you get up to 30 minutes now, can Chris Middleton become a liability on defense? We already know he's a liability a little bit on defense. We know we think about what we know, the known. We know he cannot move like he used to. We know it. The jump shot is there. The two-man game with Giannis is there. He's probably, I know people will joke about this, saying that, to me, Chris Middleton is our best passer. That does not mean he doesn't make mistakes. That doesn't mean he doesn't make bad decisions. That doesn't mean he won't throw an errant pass. But he is our best passer. He's definitely our best passer to Giannis. Right? But so to me, the two things Chris Middleton still has in his bag, because it doesn't take athleticism to do this. We know that because Joker's not really a big-time athlete. He can pass his ass off. But you got Middleton. He can still pass the ball at a very high level when he's not making bonehead mistakes. And he can still shoot the hell out of the ball. Dribbling, going to gone, defense staying in front, definitely shaky. So that's your question. And then I think the question also is, if he gets over 30 minutes, what does that look like? 25, what does it look like? And again, I'm not saying it like I have an answer. Like I don't know. There's a question mark there as to what that is. You have people who come in here and talk about it, and I won't get into it, but, people who come in and love Chris Middleton to death. And I think, again, tonight, on a night like tonight, very good. But again, it's kind of in that same position as Bobby Portis, where it's a little bit different, but where Bobby Portis is like, He's got to be shooting the ball well to be effective. I don't think Chris Middleton's there yet, where he's just ineffective. He's not shooting the ball well. But there's questions. That's all. I just don't know what he is. Berman 23 says Chris is the metronome. He controls the O when it's getting out of control. He does. I could also, my retort there, at times Chris Middleton can also be part of the out of controlness. Mac P, Middleton should be the Bucks' Ginobili. Sure, but Ginobili, even when he was with the Spurs, and as their sixth man, it wasn't like he. Yes, he was coming off the bench, but when he got in the game, you didn't have questions, and he had an older man game too, but you didn't have questions about whether he could even hold up. That's where you have questions about Chris Middleton, is whether he can hold up. That's what I'm saying. Matthew Adler says, we just won't know until he has a prolonged stretch of consistent basketball while staying healthy. Those are two unknowns. And that's where I'm going at it. Those are unknowns. Nick C, we don't need Middleton to our starting lineup. Call the bitch is ideal. It could be. It could be. But like the commenter said just earlier, it's not. Yes, coming off the bench might be the most effective part of him, but you have to be able to play 30, 35 minutes. Even coming off the bench, you have to be able to play 30 plus minutes. And if you can't do that, if your third best player is relegated only to 21, 25 minutes, and he's ineffective after that, you have problems. You do. You absolutely do. Iron Man Clan says, again, can you play like this versus the Cavs, Knicks, and Celtics? Cavs, let's talk about, let's go there then. The Cavaliers, to me, you know what? I think all those top three teams that the Bucks are 0-8 against, I'll admit it, they're 0-8 against those top three teams. I think all of them have flaws. All of them have flaws. The Celtics are not the same Celtics as last year. They lost tonight against the Toronto Raptors. I think, again, we talked about this last night. Drew Holiday is taking a step back. Jaylen Brown's not playing at the finals MVP level. And the one who's really taking a step back is Derek White. Derek White, it's one of the things where, it kind of goes to the, what's my man's name? Conor McGregor, where when you're on the streets and you're broke, you ain't got it, you're scrapping on the 100 linen, you have a hungriness to you. Derek White then gets paid big time bucks. And is he as good as he is good? Derek White used to think, man, hey, I gotta be free. I gotta go out there. I'm trying to keep Derek White feeling paid. Hey, I can shave all the hair off. I don't care no more. I'm good. I'm paid. I shave it off now. He don't even care no more. I'm just saying, he doesn't look as good. That's all I'm saying. He doesn't look as good. Now I'm talking basketball, but he doesn't look as good on the court. That's a problem for Boston when their whole thing is depth. Bassbury says they're shooting too many threes. They are, but again, that's what I'm saying. Yes, but they won that. They won like that last year. And if you fall off at all, that's a problem. You still don't have Kristaps Porzingis at great health. Then you go to the Knicks. The Knicks are probably the most balanced out of I don't know. Maybe you could probably argue Boston when they're playing all the way right. The Knicks may be the most balanced out of all of those teams. But you look, and to me, if their best player is so the thing about the Knicks is the question mark is going to be, what is Karl-Anthony Towns doing in the playoffs? Is he going to continue to play like this in the playoffs? What we're seeing so far, good returns on that. We'll see. And then two, does Jalen Brunson get the same kind of calls in the playoffs? I don't know. We'll see. That remains to be seen. But again, very scrappy, hard-fought team. But again, they are beatable. And why are they beatable? Because you ask, can you play like this? The reason they are beatable is because your top two guys, Giannis and Dame, if Dame and Giannis are the best two players on the floor in the series against the Knicks, you're in good shape. You obviously have a chance that the top two players are better than their top two. And you could argue the same for Cleveland. And again, for my question for Cleveland, and Cleveland has been playing out of those three, Cleveland obviously has been playing the best. My question for for Cleveland is, Does Darius Garland play like this in the playoffs? I don't know. And Donovan Mitchell, something about him, I just don't think he's a good enough player to be the best player on a championship team. I don't know. I'm not there on Darius Garland. I love Evan Mobley. I think Jared Allen, you can play him off the floor. Imagine Brook Lopez is shooting. If Brook Lopez is shooting threes like he's supposed to shoot threes, you have a good chance against Cleveland as well. So again, all those teams have flaws, and I don't think any of those three are as talented or as good as Boston was last year. Right, Iron Man Clint, who could be? And now you're going to Jimmy. So let's go to the next topic here. As we move through this program, the latest Jimmy Butler news. Which the Jimmy Butler news, again, if you remember previously they had said there were reports out that Jimmy Butler did not want to go to the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay. Those reports were refuted today. I believe it was by Sam Amick from The Athletic. Refuted those claims that Jimmy Butler would not come to Milwaukee. And again, if you're just joining us, appreciate it. Give me some follows, some likes, all that for going solo tonight. No JT, no Chris King, no Justin. So we appreciate you for tuning in. And I want to make this very interactive tonight. But Jimmy Butler, now the news is that has been refuted, that he would play for the Milwaukee Bucks. And your question is, and somebody else put this on Twitter, but I want to ask you guys this. If you're talking about people giving up, again, there's no way you're doing Dame. But so your question is, would you do this deal, go through hell and high water, whatever? And when I say that, would you rather have Jimmy on this team in place of, and again, Pat would be partial, but I'm really talking about impact players. I'm not talking about marginal pieces to get because again, you could see out of that trade, you could see Marjan have to go to get the money to work. You could see Pat Connaughton would have to go to make the money work. But would you be okay if it was Jimmy for the two main players in it, Brook and Chris, or Jimmy for Bobby and Chris? Does that make a difference? Do you not care at all? Like if this trade went down and it was Jimmy and the two main pieces were Brook and Chris Middleton, and you ended up with your number 5, you ended up with your 5 basically being Bobby Portis now starting. Because that's what would happen, is you'd have starter Bobby Portis. Again, don't know how many minutes, we don't know. You could definitely play with him. Giannis could be your 5 at the end of games. But that's your question. That would be what happened if someone said, no, the only way you can make this work is if we want, whoever the team is, we want Bobby Portis. Because he could be going anywhere as a part of that. Any 3-team deal, whatever. That's a question. And I mean Brook Lopez. But if it's Bobby, I definitely would rather it be Bobby. Right? It just is what it is. And again, I just think there's some matchups that Brook could exploit and be very good in. But let's talk about Jimmy on the Bucks, because I think that's the other question. Quick Drummer Ross says, don't fall for the nostalgia. Guys have a good game, and here I go falling for the trap. What's this? Berman 23 says, I'm hearing they're considering throwing in 31 first. Yeah, Berman, you have to throw in the first. You're not getting Jimmy Butler without throwing in that first. Just all Horse knows how to do is throw picks at teams. We're risking moving the team to Seattle. Well, I don't think that's true. You're not moving the team to Seattle. But yes, that's all you don't have anything else. You have a 2031 first, you have a 2031 second. That's all your picks that I believe that the Bucks control. I believe. There may be some swaps. There may be some maybe 1 or 2 swaps within that the Bucks. But the Bucks, I don't even believe they control those picks. I believe somebody else would be the team that controls whether or not they want to use that pick at that time. Right? So your question there is, and if you're moving away from Brook and Bobby, is Jimmy Butler, because I think a lot of people say, well, hold on, why are we turning our back on Chris Middleton? And again, my thing there is Jimmy Butler right now is a better player than Chris Middleton. He just is right now. You can't. That's just undeniable. But if Jimmy Butler was willing and wanted to come to the Milwaukee Bucks, and you had to give up again, you saying Brooke wouldn't feel you wanted to be Bobby. What if it was Brooke and Chris Middleton? Would you do it? Would you do it for that? I say I would. So Flip X says I would trade Bobby, not Brooke. But if what I'm asking is, so I guess I'm really asking in reverse. If it had to be, are you telling me you would nix the deal if a deal was done, but it had to be Brooke and if it had to be Brooke and Chris Middleton, you would say no, Moss can't do it. I can only do it for Bobby. Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I don't know where I would go if that was the case. And for me, I probably would say yes because again, I just truly believe Jimmy Butler gives this team the best chance to win right now. That's all I'm saying. He gives them the best chance to win now. You lose the synergy between Chris and Giannis, and who knows how Jimmy plays. But again, defensively, this team goes to a different level. You then somebody who's talking about you then wouldn't need Ajax in the start lineup. You'd have Ajax coming off the bench. Jimmy Butler would, from a versatility standpoint, everything changes. Because that's the thing. If Chris Middleton comes back into your line, because here's my problem with Chris Middleton in the starting lineup. If Chris Middleton's in your starting lineup now, excuse me, you arguably have two guys who are at a disadvantage defensively between Dame and Chris Middleton. You have two guys in your starting lineup who could be a liability. And I think Chris can at times be decent, but I think there are times where Chris is going to meld in from a defensive standpoint. Right. Question for chat. Who can Chris guard against the big three? I don't know. Right. I think he can. I think he's a body. He's 6'7", so he's there as a body. But yeah, I don't know who can he lock. Can he lock down? And can he stay in front of Jaylen Brown? Hell no. Can he stay in front of Jason? Hell no. I'm just saying if he got matched up on him. Not that you start to get, but yeah, boom, switches, picks, whatever, all that. Chris, you up, Chris, you're in front of Jason Tatum right now. The hell is he gonna do? Chris got switched up, and Chris is in front of Jalen Brunson right now. The hell is Chris gonna do when Jalen Brunson tween has he? Step back, pull, what's he gonna do? Nothing. He can't do anything. And again, I don't mean to this isn't even a bash Chris Middleton thing. It's because I think, again, there are levels where he's good at, and I think there are a lot of things that he does very well. I'm just saying, for this team, what this team needs now, I'm just asking the question. Chris Middleton matched up, switch, here comes the pick, screen, boom, Chris is now on Donovan Mitchell. Late game playoffs. The hell is he going to do? That's my question. Now imagine that's Jimmy Butler. Screen. Do you feel more confident that Jimmy Butler matched up one-on-one with any of those guys I just named? You have to. Now the question to me is going to be offensively, what is his role offensively on that team? That's something Doc Rivers have to figure out. That's something he would have to figure out. What is the offensive role? How would you manage that? The reports are Jimmy Butler's not happy with his role offensively in Miami as well. And again, I think Dame, Giannis needs the ball. Dame needs the ball. But here's the other thing. Again, Chris Middleton at this point, I don't even know that he's not good enough. I don't know that he can run his own lineups. Like, you could run a whole lineup where it's just Jimmy Butler on the floor with bench guys. I think you can, and Jimmy basically, hey, you got the ball basically nonstop. You could do that. Chris Middleton, and again, I say that because Chris, not because he can't shoot the ball well enough, but really the problem with Chris, he has a hard time dribbling. So you can't just give him the ball, let him run with a whole group, because if you're playing him hard enough defensively, he has some problems. But that's going to be, again, something to look at as this thing moves forward. We talk about till we're blue in the face about Jimmy Butler. But yeah, it is interesting that now the notion is that he would play for Milwaukee. Somebody asked, how would that affect Giannis? what is the effect on Giannis? And I would say this: Giannis at this point has, again, he was okay getting rid of Mike Budenholzer. He got Adrian Griffin hired and got another work together long, but he was okay getting rid of Adrian Griffin. He was also okay, again, I'm not saying he pulled the trigger or he was the guy who was in on or clamoring for. I'm not saying that. He was also okay with getting rid of Drew Holiday. Again, why? How do you know? After they did the move and got Damian Lillard, he signed his extension early. He didn't even have to do that. He talked about playing with Damian Lillard seasons prior. So you know that he was okay with that. I think Giannis at this point in his career cares more about winning another title than anything else, than having, he doesn't strike me as a guy. I think he is, let me say this, I'll strike that. He is incredibly loyal. But outside of that, he wants to win. And I think he wants the best team possible to win. And I think when you talk about loyalty, the other piece of the loyalty puzzle for Giannis is, am I in an organization that is always doing, we've heard him talk about it before, am I in an organization that is always doing everything possible to win? Am I in that kind of an organization? Is that what, do the Milwaukee Bucks, he's mentioned it, I heard people blow it up, he doesn't want to rebuild. He's already said that. He doesn't want to do what Golden State's trying to do and rebuild with a bunch of young guys. The Milwaukee Bucks are doing everything Giannis has wanted. You try to throw a little influx of newer players, which finally they're embracing a little bit. Ajax, Ryan Rollins. You got a couple of young guys. You got Tyler Smith. You see what he turns into. You got AJ Johnson. You see what he turns into. AJ Green. You see what he's doing. And that's other. You have to pay AJ Green. That's the thing. Charles saying, I bet Giannis be pissed. I don't know that he would. Again, I don't know that he would. If you sold him on the idea that this is to win a championship. Again, Dame wanted to go to Miami to go play with Jimmy. This would almost be, you talk about somebody being happy, this would be the best of both worlds for Damian Lillard. He was on board. Get me in Miami. That's where I want to go. Giannis, I want to win. We got to make trade. We got to do. Remember, he was going on podcasts beginning of last season. We got to do this. We got to do that. I don't know if I'm going to be here, whatever. It's the best of both worlds. So you know what we did? We went and got Giannis, Damian Lillard, and then imagine you go bring Jimmy Butler. We're going to bring Miami to Milwaukee. That's what you'd be doing. It would be an incredible job by John Horst. And people would be pissed off because they're looking at these moves around the margins and saying, well, he didn't do enough. Oh, well, look at Malik Beasley. Look at how he's drafted. His hands are tied behind. John Horst is having an incredible job. His hands are tied behind his back. He has to make moves on the margin that work. Every move has to work. He has zero margin for error. There is no magical this and you can fix this with this. And okay, well, at least we got 7 picks in the next 2 years so we can no. Or we can trade it. No. He traded all of his picks, got Drew Holiday, got a championship. Now he's tasked with trying to do some of that again. That's what he's trying to do, all while keeping Giannis happy. Again, he's done everything Giannis has asked him to do. And unless Giannis is saying you cannot trade Chris for any reason, then that's fine. But you can't have it both ways. You can't go, I want a championship by any means necessary. Give me that, and then go, well, yeah, I want it, but you can't trade this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. No. That's not how it works. You can't do it like that. You got to pick one or the other. So again, I'll say, and Samuel Dawes, Dame is good for his Bam. Not sure about Jimmy. Valid. But he was going down there and going to play with him. Valid, but we'll see. Al Farouk Aminu for 3 says, Doc in the front office would have to have a private sit down with Giannis if Miami's willing to trade Butler for Middleton. Of course they would. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And again, all these moves I'm talking about, they had a conversation. They had a conversation with him about Mike Budenholzer. They had a conversation with him about Adrian Griffin. They had the conversations about it. I don't know to what extent. Do I think for 1 second that Giannis was blindsided? Now again, I don't think they're going through and say, "Hey, Giannis, we're trading Drew Holiday today." I don't think they're doing that. But I think again, he's not an idiot. If I tell you, "Hey, I might have an opportunity to go get Damian Lillard," would you like to play with Damian Lillard? Who the hell do you think he's coming to replace? you think Dame is? He talked about, "Yeah, I'd love to play with Damian Lillard." Who the hell do you think he's replacing? Do y'all guys not remember the All-Star game and he picked Damian Lillard over Drew Holiday? Who do you think he's coming to replace? So yes, he knew. There's no way he didn't know. There's no way. Iron Man Clan says to win the East, you need defenders, something Chris is not. Butler showing that he can slow down top dogs in the East. And here's the thing. Last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on to game balls and I'll get up out of here. But the last thing I'll say on Jimmy Butler is you need incredible buy-in. I think you get that. And again, I'll be first to admit, this could blow up in your faces. This could 100% blow up in the Bucks' face. But is that a risk I'm willing to take? Likely. Because I don't think, this is what I will say definitively. This team, and I look dead into the camera, I know I'm looking at YouTube, I'm looking at chat, I look right into the camera. This team, as currently constructed, cannot win a championship. I don't believe it. I almost want to say I give him a 5% chance. I said that. I looked at the camera and said that. And then I second guess myself immediately. I want to say because you have Giannis that there's a chance. I'll say this. This team is currently constructed. This is not the best team you can put out there on the floor. And I think there's an opportunity, even with the limited amount. I know we're a second April team, so there's limited things you could do. I understand that. Even if you're not getting Jimmy Butler, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's like Jimmy Butler or bust. I'm not saying that. I'm saying regardless, this team is currently constructed. I don't think it's the best team you put on the floor. I do think you got to get rid of number 9. I think you have to. At the very again, I think there's a room where you can win a championship with Chris, Giannis, and Dame. I do think that because again, Dame goes Dame, Giannis goes Giannis. Again, if two top 75s play like two top 75s, oh, you got a chance against anybody. You do. You just make that substantially harder if you have Chris Middleton maybe in some of those series because of defensive purposes. You just and Bobby Portis liability. But yeah, I guess I'm saying I do like what you have, but I think you gotta have something else. It might be addition by subtraction without Bobby Portis. A quick John McGraw, thank you for letting us know the hard truth. We can't win as currently constructed. Right. Iron Man Classes Buck fans will still have Drew here, and we saw he's playing those Boston won the trade folks quiet as mouse. Right. Now. Let's not do that though, because Boston did win a championship. So you do whatever you have to do to win a title. Like that's full credit. They got a championship out of it. And if it means you won a title, but you sucked for 5, and Boston doesn't suck. But if you won a title and you forward some things and you weren't as good later on, that's just something you got to deal with. But I'll take the title every time. Like if Toronto, don't you think that even though they rented Kawhi for a year and they've been trash ever since, don't you think that they're happy they had the title? So even if we had to rent Jimmy Butler for half a season in a playoff run, I would take that. Hell, I might even take Jimmy Butler in a run to the finals, and you don't even. Again, I don't want to get into participation trophies, but damn it, I want to get out of the first round. I know that. I'm tired of being out of the first round. So that's why I'm so willing to say, yeah, I'll take it, because I haven't been out of the first round since what, 2022. Year after that was the second round you lost to Boston when Chris was out. So yeah, I want to get back to playing competitive in May and June. And I get it, that all relies upon health because Giannis has been hurt in all those series. So I get that part of it too. John Alberto says, I agree, they're missing an athletic center option and legit 3-and-D wing that can guard 1 through 3. Sucks that Phoenix, as you know, we get to that and look around, but sucks Phoenix, as you know, got Nick Richards from Charlotte. So that was the guy the Bucks were interested in as well. Bassrory says, I think switching it up midseason is almost a season-ending move, just like firing Griffin was last year. I don't know that. Good point. I don't know that trades are, and I don't know. I don't know that trade, but so it's a good. It's not a terrible point, but when I get to that, I go, you're trading your, especially if it's Bobby Portis. 9 has to go. Like, to me, 9 got to go. But if you're telling me it's a clear guy who's your third best player for a guy who's clearly better, like, again, if we're comparing apples to apples, there's no question that Jimmy Butler is a better player than Chris Middleton. There's no, at this point in their careers, it's not even a question. So I get what you're saying, but there's no question that the guy you're getting is better than the guy you're having go. Not because he's not that, or not that that's not what he has in his skill set, but because his legs are shot. I'm making the bet that he's not going to get to a full 100% bill of health. If you could guarantee me right now, like you said, and there's somebody in the chat said, because I was like, well, 2021, there's not 2021 Middleton. And somebody would go, well, you saw what he did in the playoffs last year. If you could guarantee me that Chris Middleton was going to be here, I could say, you know what, sure, maybe I will run it back. I'm not, based upon what I've seen, I can't be guaranteed that that Chris Middleton from last year's playoffs is there. I haven't seen that guy. And I know it hasn't been a ton of times back. I haven't seen that guy yet. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. And I just don't want to go into another season and say, I don't know. Because again, so I'm going to kind of contradict myself, because I've always said, well, I want to see the Bucks at their best. Because we talk about, and Justin always talks about, you got to keep Bobby because you can win a playoff series without Giannis. You got to prepare for that. And I always go, well, no, I think you're going to lose regardless. You have to have, I want to compare players when they're with your healthy players with Giannis and Dame. Jimmy Butler's good enough to say Giannis has a strained calf, Dame strained, whatever it was, and he's missing 3 games this series. Jimmy Butler, I think, is a guy that gets you through those 3 games. I don't know that Chris, if you told me, okay, Chris, Giannis is out, Dame is hurt, we need you to now be a guy 40 minutes and the ball's in your hands every single play. I don't know that Chris got that in him anymore. I just don't know. Maybe he does. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Nicholas has it, says, nobody wants Jimmy. We shouldn't either. That's not true. Now, nobody wants the $50 million contract. Nobody wants it. But again, let me say that. I don't think it's that nobody wants it. I guess they do. But the thing about the deal is he's an older player wanting $50+ million. That is true. That is that. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That he's an older player wanting $50+ million. But if you told me I get a championship out of it, hey, I'll take that risk. And put me in the same situation in Miami where I can, potentially trade Jimmy Butler, sign and trade, whatever it is next year. Again, I'm okay if it's a rental. Because here's the thing that people aren't thinking about here. Same thing we said. I said this last year before the Bucks lost. Or not last year, but 2 years ago before the Bucks lost with Drew and Chris and Giannis, that if they lost, there are going to be substantial changes to this team. And you fired your coach and you got rid of Drew Holiday. Let me let you know another hard fact. I don't care how it happens. Giannis could literally break his leg from the bone. Damian Lillard could tear his arm into 2. If the Milwaukee Bucks do not advance far into the playoffs, this team will not be back as currently constructed. So what I'm telling all you people, Chris Miller, got to have Chris. If you lose, and that's all, Jimmy Butler, don't want Jimmy Butler, all the money Jimmy Butler. If you lose this year, that's it. It's gone. There's no way around it. Chris Middleton's gone. Bobby Portis is gone. Brook Lopez is gone. More than likely. This team is done as you know it. It's going to be Giannis and Dame. And again, they're going to be, and let me tell you something. It depends on how bad it is. There'll be people that'll be calling for one or maybe even both of them to go and you blow the whole thing up and saying it's cooked. This season, unlike all the, this is it. I'm trying to let you know all the nostalgia that you want. This is it. If you do not win this year, this team as you know it is done. The front office as you know it is done. Some of you guys want to get rid of John Horst already. Don't worry, he's gone. So everything you know about the Milwaukee Bucks is about to change unless you win this year. And again, I'm not saying you have to win a title, but you got to get damn close. I think if you're not Game 7 in the East Conference Finals, at least, and even then, but if you're not at least Game 7 in East Conference Finals, it's over for this team. You're talking about potentially Giannis, Dame, and that's all we know maybe back. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying there. And again, that's why I'm okay with if it's a rental for Jimmy Butler, okay. Because again, the rest of those guys are going to be gone anyway. Okay. Let's move off again. So again, good stuff, man. John Alberto says if it's a rental, I'm okay too. But who wants Jimmy Butler, 36-year-old Jimmy Butler, huge contract? Agreed. 100% agreed. Yeah, I'm with you. But again, if that's your, again, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I just want to make that clear. If you have not gotten out of the first round in 2 years and you have Giannis on your team, it's desperate times. That's all. That's what I want to make clear. These are desperate times. So yes, in the normal, if we've been, playing well, even if we hadn't won another championship, if we've been in the finals and we've been to maybe another Eastern Conference Finals, and maybe you had one time where you slipped up in the second round, you've been embarrassed. And I get it. People have been hurt. Nah, that's all I'm saying. Is right now you're in desperate times. You know where you're never in desperate times? Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. You're never in desperate times there. Head out to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Excellent time out in Curly's, Pewaukee, Wisconsin, Lakeview Boulevard. Get out there, have some fun. Wednesday night they have trivia. Thursday night, Wednesday night bingo. Thursday night trivia. They have tickets for you out there as well to Milwaukee Bucks games. So please get out there. Lower level tickets. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Tell them the Guru sent you. Tell them the Cream City Crossover sent you out there to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Let's go to the Twitter and see what people on Twitter thought about this one. At the Wisconsin Kid says another solid win. No complaints. We're actually putting teams away. Let's keep building on this. At Peterson_C1 says Middleton should stay as a bench guy at this point. Seems more efficient and less concerns defensively with the starters. At Rmill53 says how were we allowed to get Ryan Rollins again? Hey man, you still about if you're stealing out of the target, man, we might be able to get a good player. At Sunk345 says great dub tonight. Love the execution on both ends of the floor. I'd like to see Chris Livingston get some more meaningful playing time. Feels like he could be very useful for us. He's got an OG Anunoby type of body. He does have a good body, if you will, of an NBA player. Again, remains to be seen what he does and how he plays. I don't know, how is he doing on the hurt? Anybody know what he looks like with the hurt? And then at Sense and the City says another night, another Bucks dub. That's exactly what it was. Quick Draw McGraw says exactly what I've been saying. If we lose, which we will, this team will be moving most of these old guys, put them damn chips to the middle of the table. Iron Man Clan says, again, I want to watch a winning team. I don't care who it is. I'll cheer for Dylan Brooks. Exactly. And Iron Man Clan says Butler hand the ball to Prime Chris and Drew. I don't know what the AO was for there, but did I say something? I'm not sure. Nicholas Hass says, I like our team. Actually, defense is okay. Offense is coming around. I'm optimistic. Yeah, the defense, for what it's worth, defense, it has been at times a top 10 defense. You saw the New York game. I thought that was more of an anomaly than what we've typically seen. But over the past 10 or so games, the Bucks have been a top 10 defense. There was another stat that came out this week or maybe yesterday or today where I saw that the Bucks saw some of the most they call it the most diverse coverages schemes in the NBA, which makes sense. They're like far and away they see the most different types of coverages. And again, it's because you have two dynamic players that do it in two totally different styles, Giannis and Dame. So teams have been playing them a little bit differently throughout the year and playing giving them a bunch of different looks, which I think is good. I think it's very good. And it's interesting. It's really a change to me from old NBA because if you, I don't know how long you guys have been watching NBA, but back in, I don't even want to say back in the day, but 10, 15 years ago, 5, 10 years ago, Like the way teams play, they really didn't game plan every night, and still to some extent they don't. But a lot of teams now do, and a lot of teams coaching has gotten to another level. A lot of teams didn't game plan every and when I say game like at all, you ran your stuff defense and that was it. And now and if you got beat in it, okay, oh well, go off to the next game. It's 82 games. And now there's so many good athletes, so many good players that teams now really game plan for what goes on. So you're seeing that with Giannis and Dame. How many times you see Dame get blitzed every other night on a nightly basis from different teams? Like again, most teams don't see that. And again, they see Dame, they go, we're gonna blitz him, we're gonna play him like this. Back in the day, teams just remember when Devin Booker was in that scrimmage that over the summer. It's like, hey man, why y'all doubling? I'm trying to get better. That's how the NBA kind of used to be. Everybody played man to man, and that was it. You play man to man. If you got beat, you got beat. If you didn't, you didn't. And then, you might do a couple different things, but on a nightly basis, like you ran your stuff, and that was it. Now everybody tries to play a different type of way, and they're game planning specifically for different guys every single night. Like every night, most nights, teams come out and they got a scout report on Andre Jackson Jr. and they're like, no, we're not guarding him at all. He's not good. You didn't used to see it all the time. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I think we flushed that out pretty solid. This show's actually going longer than I thought it would. Of course, man. I if you get me to yapping, I'm a yap. So let's keep rolling here. And go to game balls. Game ball tonight for me. Know where you guys want to go. My game ball is going to Damian Lillard tonight. 30 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals. Again, he shot the ball efficiently. I can't ask for any much more than that for Damian Lillard. 122-93, Bucks win. It was just a very very good night for Damian Lillard. And again, I'll say it again. I'm probably gonna say it. If you are on this channel and you're watching it and you're staying with us and you stay with us for the rest of the year, you will hear me say this over and over again. Giannis is our best player. Damian Lillard is the most important player. Again, the highest scorer doing NBA, 30 points for Dame, 26 for Giannis, 56 points tonight. So they go 56, 16, and 8 tonight. I'll take that. And neither one of them played. Damian Lillard played limited minutes in the fourth. Giannis didn't play the fourth at all. Iron Man Clan says, regardless of how this plays out, this Giannis Dame pairing has went as good as I expected it would. There's not a doubt in my mind if you put the right pieces around and win another ring. I think a lot of people would disagree with you, saying that it's gone as good as you expected. And again, to me, it's a TBD. I don't know. It's as good as expected. That seems a little. That seems as a little bit much to say that when the Bucks sit at 22-17 right now, starting off 2-8. I don't know if I go that far. It's been as good as expected. I give last year a pass. Again, you say, well, that's the thing. I can't go good as expected. You fired your coach in the middle of last year. You bring Doc Rivers again. What I will give them a pass for is the playoffs because Giannis didn't play. But I don't know if I can go as good as expected. They're probably somewhere over with Doc Rivers. They're probably somewhere. Yeah, with Doc Rivers, they're probably somewhere hovering around 500, maybe a little bit over 500 as a team with Doc Rivers. So, and again, they're 5 games over 500 right now. Was that 3.5 games back of the Knicks in the Eastern Conference? And again, teams are butting at them because again, you're sitting where you're at, but you're not pretty because you're sitting 4th, and you are a game and a half ahead of Atlanta, who is sitting in 9th. So you have you're 1 game up in the win column over the Atlanta Hawks, who sit in 9th place right now. So again, I don't think you're gonna fall like that. I think the Bucks are better than everybody who's behind them at this point. But still, that doesn't mean you got to go out and go get the wins. Bucks are 6-4 in their last 10. You got Indiana, who's in 6 right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Detroit 8-2 in their last 10. So again, you got to continue to play good ball. Really, the class of the East has been Cleveland, who's 9-1 in their last 10. Everybody else has really kind of played a little over 500 ball outside of Detroit. So yeah, Dame Lillard gets the game ball. Kudos to him. Played well. And again, I think the difference tonight, aggressiveness. Be aggressive. That's the difference. I know he's got it in him. Be aggressive even when you're not scoring the ball well. And when I say be aggressive, it's not just shooting. It's not just taking shots. It's the quality of shots. Damian Lillard got to the basket tonight, over and over and over again. Let's see here. Bucks win at one. Let's do a look around. Bucks win 122-93. Warriors are up by 6 points right now over the Timberwolves. That game's on ESPN. The Heat are up 85-82 going into the fourth over the Lakers. Clippers up big right now over the Nets. Knicks had an overtime thriller, 125-119 over the Sixers. Sixers 15-24. We talked about the Celtics. They lost tonight 110-97 to the Raptors. Raptors have 10 wins on the season. The Grizzlies win 129-115. I don't know if you saw that game, but the Grizzlies, I don't know if you saw that, but Ja Morant had a dunk over Wemby at the end of the game. Ja Morant had a dunk. That's not in the game, but it might be in the game. But it was after whistle blew. So it was like after foul or something. So it's kind of like post whistle. But they both went up. Like Ja was driving to the basket, whistles blown. Everybody kind of stops. But Ja and Wemby kept, like, Ja was already accelerating to the basket. Wemby's already getting in position to jump. They both clearly heard the whistle, but they was like, you know what? Let's do this. And Ja Morant got one. I believe, and again, I only saw it a couple times. It looked like one of the Blake Griffin kind of dunks where he threw it in over him, but it was impressive nonetheless. And then the Pelicans win 119-116 over the Mavericks. The Mavericks have injuries, of course. Zion Williams not playing. He's another guy that may be on the move. Hawks 110-94 over the Bulls. Another guy that's been talked about the potential to be a Milwaukee Buck. Maybe we talk about him another time. I don't feel like going to another 20-minute spiral down the rabbit hole on Zach LaVine, who has been rumored to potentially. Again, I don't know if it's. Let me say this. I don't know if there's been any rumors that the Bucks are interested in Zach LaVine, but I saw some trade scenarios where, like, there were like 3 or 4 team moves where somehow, I think it was like a Zach LaVine, like somehow Bradley Beal got moved somewhere, and somehow Zach LaVine ended up on the Bucks. Hornets win 117-112 over the Jazz. Rockets win 128-108 over the Nuggets. No Nikola Jokic. Yeah, so that's your NBA look around for the night. I'm not gonna go into much else tonight. I did see where the fan at Green Bay and Philly game lost his job. I saw some people who were like, that's so soft that he lost. That he lost his job. I don't even know my memory's terrible. We might have talked about this on the last show. I don't remember. Because I know Justin was in Philly for that game for the Packers. But like I said, I mean, the guy was in a lose-lose scenario. It's him. It's his wife. He's already got the vantage point. He's back because he's below the guy. Guy's up above him talking crazy, clearly drunk with his friends here. It's 2 people in a crowd full of Philly. These are people who threw batteries at Santa Claus. Like, it's a lose-lose. I get it. People want to smack people around. You should have hit him. He had a camera on him and he was back. No, to me, this is the last laugh. Like, you called my wife the C word. You call her that to her face, tell her she's dumb, ugly, all this kind of stuff. And because people are like, you should have hit him. I wouldn't have let him talk to my wife like that. Let me tell you something. If you have a mortgage, none of this is worth going to jail over. Again, I don't know how I would have reacted in the same scenario, but I will say that the best, to me, the sweetest revenge, deserved, whatever phrase you want to come up with, came out today. The guy lost his job. So you called my wife that. You disrespected my wife, and said XYZ to her. Could have smacked you. Maybe you get a bruise on your face. And then that's the other thing. You clearly don't have any respect. So if the guy if you hit that guy, now 10 people pummel you. He have any respect for your wife and say anything. Don't you think he smack her too? So now not only did she get called the C word, called dumb and ugly, she probably also got knocked around too in a fist fight in Philly. No. I don't want that to happen either. So probably the best result is you were able to get your little jokes off. You said what you wanted to say. And now guess what, buddy? You get to go home to your wife and tell your wife how you acted like a drunk, obnoxious idiot at a football game and you lost your job. That's how stupid you were over the weekend. That's how idiotic you were over it. You lost your job over it. That's what you get. I have no problem with it. Absolutely. That's what he deserved. So, sir, you want to talk to people like that? You want to talk crazy? No, you know what? You might not get because you really do deserve a smack in the mouth. You really do deserve to get punched in the face. That's what people who talk to people. That's why you talk to strangers like that. You ain't never been punched in the face before. Um, so he deserved to get punched in the face. But you know what? I'm not mad that he got to dip into his. I'm hope. I don't know what I'm happy that he gonna again hate it for his kids. I don't know what his financial situation is, but I hope he got to dig into that savings account to make ends meet next month. I hope when you think about what you said to that lady, you got to look at your. I'm sorry about it, just collateral damage. You got to look at your son. You got to look at your daughter and say, hey, your birthday coming up. I don't have a check coming in this week, buddy. I don't know if I can get you that XYZ, whatever that toy is, whatever that thing is that you want. Hold on, maybe come on. Daddy gotta get another job. That's what I don't have no problem with it at all. Anyway, that's the only thing I wanted to get at. 122-93, Bucks beat the Magic. I think John Alberto said absolutely not to Zach LaVine. But again, we'll see what happens. I do think the Bucks are going to do something. John Horst has never been a guy to sit on his hands. We know that. Bucks beat the Magic tonight, 122-93. Good win overall. Bucks just continue to play well. They took care of business. Back at it Friday night against Toronto Raptors. Got to take care of business again at home. Again, the Raptors just beat the Boston Celtics, so it's not like they're pushovers. Again, you're better than them. Scotty Barnes seems to just do so much for that basketball team. So if you can at least get him under wraps, you should be in good shape. Appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. It could have been in the world, but you're here with me, Solo Crosby, Solo Guru, tonight on the program with the Cream City crossover. Had a real fun time chatting with you guys, talking to you guys, talking about Chris Middleton, talking about the Jimmy Butler news, and talking about these Bucks, man, getting wins, getting dubs. So again, if you liked it, hit that like button. If you liked any part of the conversation, if you just appreciate that I'm here with you by myself doing this thing, hit that like button, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend, tell another friend about the Cream City crossover. Appreciate you guys for coming on in the room. And appreciate our sponsor tonight, the Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill out of Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Go in there on televised games, $3 bottles and pints out of Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Again, hey man, appreciate you guys. Had some fun. A lot of fun, as always, getting into Bucks news. We're here, your number one stop for all Bucks-related content. Best post-game show in the land. This has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Guru Trey Crosby III. If I am the enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no